Ashley Jones, and if you want to join our chat room during this time, you can. The chat room is open. So I have just received a couple questions about Throwback Night at Disneyland, and that is going to be on April 18th at Disneyland, not California Adventure. The tickets are still on sale for Throwback Night. And the pricing is, I believe, still $129, and the 20th is the more expensive date for $149. So, what Throwback Night is going to be is it's a blast to the past, of course. That's what throwback means. So for Throwback Night, they're going to do the old 1950s fireworks show, Fantasy in the Sky, which was when Walt Disney was alive. That was the fireworks show that started it all. Another thing that's going to happen before this night officially kicks off is you will need to go check in, I believe, at the Starcade in Tomorrowland and ask a cast member if there is early check-in to get your wristbands. I'm going to see about doing the early check-in if there is one, so that I don't have to try to get in the line at 6 o'clock and get stuck in the crowd. Because by 6 p.m., when people only have a little while left before the others are kicked out of the parks because they don't have the special Throwback Night ticket, it might get crazy because people are trying to get their stuff done before they can't stay in the park any longer. So, the other thing to look out for is that you have to beware at Throwback Night for a couple reasons. To be careful of kids and families that might be there too, and yourself, because even though there's not as many people in the parks as there are a normal day, typically, it can still be crazy. Children who might be there might be so excited about getting into a special event that they start either trying to run off from parents, start being rude to other guests, or they might start doing things that make a lot of other guests feel a little bit upset, such as also being rude, trying to cut people in line for things. It happens, unfortunately, and it's up to the parents to start, pulling their reins in and saying, you need to stop this or we're going to leave, and they won't get the refund back if the parents decide that their children who they brought in are being rowdy, have ruined it for everybody, and they have to leave. So be also aware too that since it is a special event, not only will you need a wristband, but I think you get a lanyard as well. Also, the food is going to be quite a bit different because they're going to have special food for this event. They're going to have probably some old vintage dishes back from Walt's era. I don't know what some of those things might be. Possibly some of the old recipes like the chili. Possibly, some old chicken recipes. You never know what there's going to be. It's going to be a really big surprise to see what kind of vintage foods they're going to bring back. The other thing to be aware of is, for safety and your health as well, if you have any, certainties about, your stomach and stuff on the night where you're not familiar with some of the foods, just in case, bring an over-the-counter stomach medication, Imodium, Pepto, whatever you're comfortable with. You're going to eat some foods most likely that your stomach may not be quite used to. So unfortunately, it is a good idea to bring a little bit of a stomach remedy to take with you. I'm going to do that too because, like I said in previous times, I am lactose intolerant, but not just that. Sometimes, unfortunately, my stomach might flare up from time to time, and it's not a fun experience. So, also, some foods might have a little kick of spice in it, and that's not always good either. So, your stomach might get upset for quite a few reasons. Also, be very well aware of the outfits you chose for the throwback night. Since it's going to be a throwback night theme, definitely wear stuff that's appropriate for the occasion. Preferably not really a crop top or bike shorts, short shorts, because it's going to be nighttime and it's going to be cold. As well as it just doesn't look good on a lot of people to dress like that. I've seen some very strange fashions over the years at Disneyland that have started to come into the park. And sometimes I wonder how they make it through security with their outfits. When it used to be that if you dressed like that, they used to suggest to you to go to the Emporium or another place and get a change of clothes because you were being deemed inappropriate in the parks. I'm wondering if that's sometimes still the case because there are some things I've almost said like, oh my gosh, why is that person wearing that outfit here? Like, don't they know? And really try not to do that at the throwback night either because the outfits for this should, be fun, but they shouldn't be too outrageous. For me, I decided, along with some friends of mine that I'm going with, we're all going to wear some vintage t-shirts. I got my Mickey Mouse Club shirt with the original Mickey Mouse Club logo on it. And then I'm going to wear some pants. Some nice pants, like either my Fab 5 Mickey pants with all of his friends on it, or I might be wearing my sweatpants depending on how cold it's going to be. That's another thing to take in consideration as well. Make sure you bring a jacket or a sweatshirt or a windbreaker because it is most likely going to drop pretty low in temperature by that time. Still, it is still going to be a little bit cooler than it won't stay cooler much longer after that because that'll be May after that, and it will probably start warming up. But in April, the temperature shouldn't probably go over 72. Maybe not even that high. So the wise thing to do is bring a jacket, sweatshirt, or a windbreaker in case you get cold at night. The other thing they're going to do at Throwback Night that is going to be exciting as well is different treats that they may not have typically there when it's not a special event. Also, they are going to have, different, souvenirs type stuff and everything. So you never know what you're going to find for a souvenir either. And it'll be interesting to see what their offerings are for all the different types of food, souvenirs, snacks, drinks. And also, the other thing is to remember, like I always say, Please be courteous to all of the cast members. They're doing their best in the parks to take care of all of the guests that come into the park. They care about the guests. They do have rules they have to follow when working there. So they can't just, go out of the way to break a rule for a guest. For example, if you ask a cast member to give you like a front of the line privilege to not have to wait in a line to meet a character, they can't do that. Everybody's either trying to go on a ride or meet a character or get food. Unfortunately, you never stop waiting in a line sometimes. And when that happens, you have to understand that these rules have been there even since Walt Disney, when he was alive and at Disneyland. It's always been that way. So just don't treat the cast members rudely and say, hey, why can't you, do this for me? You have to do this for me. No, it doesn't work like that. So please don't, try to cause a fight or be a show off at the parks, because you won't make friends with anybody and you'll just look plain old ridiculous by acting like that. Plus, you're setting a really bad example for the younger generations, too, when you're there acting like that. Sadly, I have seen guests, old and young, making some really bad mistakes, causing fights, cutting in line, not being courteous to the cast members. Most likely, what's going to end up happening then is you're going to be told quite bluntly and in a nice way, it's time for you to go. Like, you have done too many bad things here. Not exactly in those words, but there are ways they will tell you that you have to leave. And that's not something you want, because you won't get a refund. You won't be, nobody's going to be happy with you. And some people are even going to laugh at you as you get kicked out because they were tired of your bad behavior in the first place. So it's better to behave. So in a lot of ways, when I say these things, they're to keep you safe. Knowledge is key in these cases, and showing you how to be a nice and respectful guest. Other thing that's not very easy for a lot of people to understand in these parks is that too much alcohol can definitely ruin your night. In a lot of ways, especially for these private events, you may only get up to 2 alcoholic drinks per visit, I think, for these events. I don't think they will let you go over 2 beverages for these special nights. If you do start not being able to hold your liquor, not only will you look like a fool in front of everybody, but you're going to most likely be asked to leave until you sober up. And it's not a pretty picture. Some things that have been around for a long time in these rules now, since 2016, I believe it was. Yeah, 2016, is no smoking, no vaping, no marijuana, and no other any of that stuff. It's gone. You cannot do that in the parks or the Esplanade of the parks, which is the area that's between California Adventure, Disneyland, and the downtown Disney district. If you try to do any of those things on their property, you will be told to either put it out, throw it away, or go put it back in your car. And then you have to go through security again when you want to come back in. So it's really advisable not to even think about bringing those in. So far, Hold on a second. This one's, I did a short, this is a longer one.